Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Last of Us Grounded walkthrough. This is Chapter 3, Billstown, Part 2. There goes Bill, shanking a dude with a machete, very happy to see that. There's no loot dropped by the dudes, because this game has got random drops and they're pretty damn low. One of the biggest differentiators between walkthroughs on this game is going to be just how lucky you get with drops, and just how frugal you are with ammo. And you'd be surprised at the stupid comments you get for a game like this from people who... I don't understand stupid people sometimes, and the internet's fucking full of them. Like, somebody leaving insulting comments against a walkthrough because you have more ammo than they do. What do you say to that? Like, I'm sorry that I didn't waste my bullets as much as you did, or I'm sorry that the game decided to be more kind with its loot than it did for you. Like, how do you answer that? That person doesn't have the brain in their head functioning on all cylinders to realise these are things, half of it you don't control, the other half is entirely down to you. If you can't aim for shit, you can't blame someone else for that. It's all you. Like, I miss all the time. Miss all the time. I waste bullets, I waste Molotovs, it's just what I do. But I don't blame other people's walkthroughs because they have a shit ton of loot and a shit ton of ammo. I just get on with it, you know? You can't do that, it's dumb. This is dumb too. I'm going to be running away from these guys and hoping they don't do that crazy quarterback, cut me off, take me down nonsense that they do. Because if these motherfuckers were rugby players, they'd be like the All Blacks, because they're insane. Also, if you see that symbol on your HUD, you have to help them, because you can't rely on Ellie to do it, and you can't rely on them to get out of the grab. If that gets to full, it will execute them and you will fail. But my strategy here is kind of divide and conquer, hopefully find a bottle, hopefully find somewhere to go. I was hoping I could skip this section, but you can't. I went up to the bus, there was no infected near me. I started pressing triangle to try and give Ellie a push up and she just wouldn't do it because the detection isn't there. So I sit over here thinking maybe they'll pacify, maybe this won't be a clusterfuck. And guess what? They will not pacify. So I do a little shimmy over the car and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have to shoot these things. Like, there's literally nothing I can do here except either try a bomb, shoot them, or maybe climb on a bus and go all fisticuffs. So I try a bomb, I try and bottleneck them towards that opening and hope it does something, and I think it kind of does, but I don't stop around to watch my handiwork because that infected lady ran past, so I come back over here, and I'm just kind of like ruminating on, is there any bottles, is there any bricks, is there any, I don't know, is there anything, because there's a lot of dudes, and when you start fighting one of them, the other one will beat you up, which I don't really want. So, we go back over here, we do a little bit more kiting. Once again, folks, if you don't have any stipulations against using your guns, just fucking shoot these enemies. They're so stupid. And once again, I'm trying to get Ellie like, come on, Ellie. Oh, speaking of, I shoot that guy, I'm like, come on, Ellie, do it. Do the thing, quick, skip it, Ellie. Do it, skip it, skip it, skip it. And you can't, you just can't. It's programmed in such a way where they have to die and Joel has to do his, you know, I guess we killed them all, that he does after every fight. But I pulled my guns out because I just want to get this section over. I've missed more shots than was worth it. I climb up here and I think I should have done this from the beginning because Joel does this awesome kick that knocks them off and you can just keep kicking them as they try and climb up. So the lesson learned here is on the second spawn, try climbing up something like this, and if there's only one area they can climb up, just keep kicking them, and I bet that's a really effective strategy, but I only found it at the end, and, you know, my walkthroughs are meant to be as honest as possible, and that was an honest run. It got hectic, I wasted a couple of bullets, but we got past it. And then the next sequence coming up inside the school is really hard as well. This next part, I have no idea how you're even meant to approach this, just trying to punch things, because it just doesn't work. There's a couple of runners, a couple of clickers, and like each room you go through spawns more enemies. It's so brutal when it comes to just trying to punch and knock stuff out. So I'm probably going to be using Molotovs, and I'm probably going to be kiting like an idiot for a lot of it, hoping that Bill comes through. And worst case scenario, if I get cornered, you'll probably see me pull the shotgun out. Ooh, something I need to mention too. I would recommend having a bomb and a Molotov, because the bloater coming up will die if you hit it with a bomb and a Molotov. And if you do it quick enough, it won't have time to hurt you. And one thing I learned after this bloater fight that I didn't realise at the time is it actually hurts me a lot. I didn't think I was getting hit at all because my screen wasn't going red, Joel wasn't making any noises. It was just, you know, he's firing that crazy honeycomb powder at me and boom, I'm running away from it. But if the HUD was on, you would see that every time I'm very close to one of those explosions, it takes off life. So if you want to kill it without wasting a ton of life, Molotov and a nail... Is it a nail bomb? Or is it like a scissors bomb? I don't know what it's called. But one of those bomb things is what you want. So this moment, I tried several different strategies here to stealth it, to punch my way through, to do a lot of different strategies, and none of them worked. And thus, I used the Molotov, which, looking back on it,
Watch my back.
I don't think that this was a bad choice of a Molotov. I think this was probably a good location for it. But I was still frustrated with the game and with myself because I wanted to be able to get past this area without having to do that, and I have no doubt there's probably a way, you know, somebody who's super into the game, who, you know, plays it a hell of a lot. That was a mistake. Eh well. Has perhaps found a way to meticulously take out everybody slowly and get your way through. But the thing that got me is when you get through this science lab, you trigger more enemies through the door, which I just completely disagree with. And then once you get through that door, you trigger 3 enemies on the corridor, cock-blocking the door. And then the worst part is when you get to said door, you can't open it unless Bill helps you, and Bill won't help you when enemies are around. So even if you could get past them sneaking and stealth your way past them, you probably still wouldn't be able to open the door. And that one change, just have it a door that Joel opens, and one of those like checkpoint doors where he opens it and shuts it quite quickly and it's almost like a cutscene. If that was the case, then this section would be nothing, because there'd be a really interesting and aggressive and risky strategy to get through it. But as it stands, it just isn't. So instead, it's just going to be this crazy fucking Roadhouse Patrick Swayze brawl, which, you know, pull your guns out is what I'll say to the folks who are watching this. Like, if you want an alternative strategy to this one, go on my Survivor guide and see what I did there, because chances are I used the shotgun and I used Molotovs and I just killed people that way. But I wanted to do something a little different on this one, and these were my findings. So the cool thing is there's bottles everywhere. Whoever, you know, used to run this place apparently didn't believe in recycling, because bottles are everywhere. But watch out for that. You see that? You see how quickly he tried to cut me off then? That is the biggest risk on this game. The AI can predictively interrupt your path, and if you get caught on grounded, you don't survive for much longer. Which is not a problem, it's just kind of frustrating when you've ran past a bunch of them and they've not touched you, and then one dude kind of vacuums you, which does happen, especially the stalkers. They're fantastic at sucking your face. But I'm kiting back into this school area to pick up bottles. I'm hoping Bill's doing something to the clicker to kill it, but you just cannot rely on the AI. You can't. That being said, I think he's killed it. So go Bill. Which is pretty awesome. Looking for bricks, looking for bottles, looking for anything. Ellie's talking, which means that the spawn is now over. But watch this. There are no enemies on this corridor. If you look through this corrugated fence to my left, you'll see no enemies. As soon as you walk through it, they're there. Look, see? Nobody there. No one there at all. Not a single dude. Looks safe. And then watch this. Magically, these fellas turn up. Where the fuck did they come from? So I come back over here to see if they can see me through the railing, and they can. And this was quite funny because Bill shoots them through the gap. And I never knew he could do that, which is cool. But, like, I don't think you could probably use that for much of a strategy, because they soon click on and they soon start running towards you. So at this point, there is no checkpoint, by the way, guys. if you get killed here, you will go all the way back to when you entered. So here, you probably want to put a gun on just in case you make a mistake, unless you're confident in your ability to do some Patrick Swayze. So I move back down here with hopes that they'll... Oh god, this looks bad. Oh, don't grab me! Look at them, they're so terrifying. And I've got 2 of them, which is not cool. So shotgun's coming out here. Oh, maybe not. God! Swayze him! Swayze him to the floor! Shotgun's definitely coming out here. And then this is the last dude. Oh no, there's one more. Get a few cheeky punches on him, put him down. Bill starts hacking away with the machete, then swaps to his shotgun for some reason. And I come back in. Couple of lefts, couple of rights. Bit of the old Marquis of Queensberry rules, and he goes down. And I believe that's the end of that sequence. And I managed to get my shotgun shell back, which was really courteous of the game. But there you have it, folks. I tried my best not to shoot, but sometimes you just kind of have to. It's one of those things. Or I do anyway, because I'm just not the best, like, stealther of this game. And it all stems from the strange way they used to go from zone to zone. Like, I could understand if, when we entered the school, we landed on a bunch of bottles and they all broke and we aggroed all the things, but it's just such a cock block, especially the corridor one, the just random 3 fellas here. But onwards and upwards, we're through now. Hopefully you didn't waste too much ammo or too many med packs, however you're playing. And then as soon as you come into this zone, it's a boss fight. So this is the bloater. That's the projectile he throws. Chances are that right then probably just hurt me, so you need to be super careful. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and throw a bomb at him like that. And what I should have done is I should have immediately thrown a Molotov at him, which I didn't do, and it would have killed him, maybe? I like to think it would have killed him. That probably hurt me as well. Do you see what I mean? There's just no indication that you're taking damage at all. But I think what I end up doing here is I end up finishing him with the rifle. And this guy's got a ton of life too. Don't stand in front of him either, because he does a charge and he'll insta-kill you like a clicker does. Because essentially he's just like a stale turd clicker. Also, he moves quite erratically, so getting the headshot on him can be quite tricky unless he's facing you. Like that. Just completely miss, which is terrible. But it doesn't look like I'm taking any damage at all. It doesn't look like I'm in any way in any kind of risk. Yet, I am, apparently. Ooh, that time Joel said something. He did a little bit of a growl. But even so, it still doesn't give you that visual feedback that you expect from games. So it's very strange that it functions that way.
It's been infected for a long time. We call them bloaters.
But if you come where he came from, you can pick up a couple of resource materials, and there's an interesting checkpoint choice here too. Once you put Bill and Ellie up onto the bleachers, I think they're called, the little stands, a couple of infected runners are going to turn up. There's 3 of them, and if you die to them, you have to fight the bloater again. I can't remember if Survivor was the same, but I imagine a few people are going to get caught out by this and be a little bit frustrated. So I'm not even going to mess about here because there's too much to risk. So I just shotgun these fellas, and then the final dude I'm going to throw a bottle at, or a brick at, and then I'm going to finish him off. Really, really poorly though. Goodness me, that's so terrifying. Which, if you didn't know, occasionally The Last of Us has a tracking attack. When you get close to an enemy and you press attack, Joel will propel himself forward and he'll do a move that covers 3 times the distance of the standard melee. However, the detection on that melee is a little wonky at times, so instead of doing the lunge and getting it as you expected, he'll just do the standard sweep, as you saw then, which covers no distance and leaves you in recovery frames. So, pretty scary times. But I messed about here and ended up getting these runners that you just saw aggroed, and there's another one coming up. And on my Survivor guide, I don't remember fighting these, I remember just running past them, but on this one I was forced to, because I found that they would start attacking me if I didn't do anything about them. Which might be a difference in the aggression of the AI, or it might just be my fleeting memory. Ooh, this part. So This is tricky. Really tricky to do this without shooting. So, let's point out the obvious. There's a lot of them. There's you and Bill. Bill is anywhere between completely useless to a legend with a shotgun. And you have no way to predict what he's going to be. He's vulnerable to being grabbed, and so is Ellie. And obviously, if you let the enemy grab them for long enough, they'll execute them and you'll fail. There's easily about 10 dudes to kill on this sequence, and there's probably about 10 bottles and bricks, but knowing where they are is quite tricky. And because the enemy's grouped together, because it's one of those environments, it can be troubling isolating who you want to focus on, because while you're in the animations of fighting, somebody comes up behind you and decides to bum you. Oh, I pulled a gun out. Which tells you that this section's quite tricky. Which, I shot him hoping to get a kill shot, and I didn't get it, which is disappointing. But as tricky as this part is, I had a lot of fun with this one. Also, there's no point really pushing the truck unless Bill's with you, because you just don't push it very far, or very fast.
Keep pushing. Keep pushing.
And I'm curious as well as if there would be any way to get it so that you could just consistently push it, but I think it's one of those scripted sequences where you're meant to come off, kill the dudes, get back on, come off, kill the dudes. So there's the good old bottle to the face, follow it up with a couple of white beaters, still going, she takes a shotgun blast to the chest. I'm not a big fan of that, but hey, whatever. And then, here we go, this is when it gets a little bit messy. So there's one dude chasing me and Bill's fighting, what was it, 3 of them? I'm going to try and pick something up. Keyword here, try. This dude's chasing me, get him. Yeah! Yeah! See you later. So that one goes down pretty quickly. That's Bill running towards me and not a bad guy. There's a clicker, 2 more runners. Runners going for Ellie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try... Oh, I'm going to shoot her. No, I'm not. Apparently not. I'm going to punch her. And just be aware that there's a clicker real close. Oh, did she grab her again? Oh no, Bill got grabbed. So this one... Oh, I wasted a bullet, Chris. What the fuck are you playing at? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And Bill just gives him a face full of buckshot. That one's probably going to go for Ellie. That one's going for me. What is it doing? Is it just chilling out? It's like moshing to silent music. Bill gets grabbed, but gets her off him. I'm going to do a couple of 1-2s. There we go. Nice little tag team. Kick her in the face. See you later. Ooh, machete to the neck. Go on, Bill. And apparently I'm talking even though this... Oh, go on. Double team. And there she goes. So you'd think at this point that this would be the last push. But it's not. There's another spawn. And you can see it on the left there. You can see the creature crawling out from under the bush or under the car. So I push it for as long as I dare. And then I just find a brick. Hey, there's one. So 3 runners and a clicker. Go on, Bill. Introduce him to the concept of headshots. Bill's kind of cuddling. See that one trying to cut me off then? Uh-oh, faster than it looks. And for a second as well, when you're running away and it's all hectic, it looks like... Oh, nasty. It looked for a moment there like Bill was one of the runners, but as soon as I realised it was Bill, I decided to go in with the brick. Here we go. Cool thing about the infected is they don't seem to counter you as effectively as the humans do. Humans are a little bit more skilled when it comes to the old fisticuffs. That cannot be fisted, so don't even go near that. Not that you would want to, but clicker's really nasty. Don't need me to tell you that, you obviously know yourself because you've played the game and everybody's died to a clicker in the time. That's scary, that. When anyone takes more hits than you expect, I'm always terrified that somebody's about to grab me. So you'll notice I immediately come out of the animation of punching them into a sprint. There goes the clicker. There goes Bill. Pushes her into me, clotheslines her, left hook, KO, good night. And then Bill starts slashing the clicker. So at this point, I think this is the very final dude. We just need Bill to kill it, because I can't do much to a clicker unless I shoot it or I have a brick, and I can't find one. Pretty interesting music on this part. I've never noticed it before. That's his crazy dad jog. I don't know if you saw it just then, the clicker dad jog. Go on, Bill. Jesus. People are watching here. It's time to impress. You get her? There we go. And now we can get out of this place. So on this one, as soon as it starts pushing and going down the hill, just run after it, jump in the back, you'll get the cutscene, you'll end the level. But that was the end of Billstown. Definitely the most challenging level so far, but even then, the school section is probably the only bit you're going to struggle with because it's such a jump in difficulty. You've gone from a manageable fights to here's a shit ton of dudes, I hope you've got a Molotov kind of situations. But thank you very much for watching. I hope it's been entertaining and at least helpful, and you take care now.